Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. The hour being 5:30, Tuesday, November 28, 2023. I will now call the Public Works and Service Committee meeting to order. Mr. Christoph, may we have the roll call?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have Alder Jones,
Present.
Alder Jarrett, excused. Alder Davis,
Present.
Alder Perez. Present. And Alder Kelly.
Present.
Thank you. First item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes from November 14th.
Move to approve.
Second. Motion and second to approve the minutes from November 14th. Any corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. First item on the agenda is 1135-23. Communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of the Department of Public Works, submitting bid results for contract 202-3278 Racine Sump Pump Installation Program. That recommendation that the contract Racine Sump Pump Installation Program be awarded to PM Plumbing and Mechanical in the amount of $546,879.97. They being the lowest responsive bidder. Physical note funding is available in order object 40101-57560 sanitary sewer. Mr. Commissioner Rooney.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On Tuesday, November 21st, Department of Public Works received bids for the city to receive some pump installation programs, and it's the same for your approval. There's been two bids, PM Plumbing and Mechanical, in the amount of $546,879.79. Martin Peterson Company in the amount of $637,000. PM Plumbing Mechanical submitted the lowest responsive and responsible bid in the amount of $546,879.97. The staff recommends the contract be awarded to PM Plumbing Mechanical on base bid price. Funding is available in the org object 40101-57560 sanitary sewers. The little background on this, also Mark Peterson Company turned out they were not qualified as a bidder. They did not meet pre-qualification, but we are still recommending award that bid to PM Plumbing Mechanical. This is to install some pumps in Racine homes. This is the first of what I can only imagine to be many bids that will come before this committee over the next 5 to 7 years for this type of work. This is a part of our approved plan by the Racine Wastewater Commission back in October of 2022 to get our exceedance levels at the treatment plant to an acceptable range. So we have essentially an allocated amount of flow that we can send to the treatment plant, and we have exceeded that during wet weather events. And when we exceed that, we have to take mitigating factors to lower that amount. And the Wastewater Commission in October of last year approved kind of like an a la carte program that we have presented to them to start chipping away at reducing II. Some of them are manhole sealing and chimney replacements on our sanitary structures. We're also going to be doing a lot of sanitary sewer lateral repair and lining. We took a change order for this committee last week or last time for that. And the third part of that program is second sump pumps. So this bid, I believe, covers 70 homes in the city. It'll be the first contract that we'll have out there. We'll try to refine and adjust things as we go, learn a little bit about this contract. And see if we can't get multiple contracts out in subsequent years. Our target is to be at about 2,000 sump pumps installed in the next 7 years. Now, we are finishing this spring a pilot project in 2 areas, one over by the Osborne area, one over by the Echo Kinsey neighborhood over there. When we get the post metering results from doing some of these improvements, we'll have better data on how much gallon per minute reduction we get for every one of these things that we do. So we'll wind up finding out over the next year, what are the most cost effective ways to reduce II. It may mean that we do more of those things and less of these things. So, but as of now, based on the data we have, that's our goal for about 7 years. So if you have any comments or questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Alder Perez.
Thank you. What's the selection criteria for homes?
The homes, and good question. As a matter of fact, I believe yesterday afternoon, they just released a press release. You might have seen that. It'll probably be in the paper soon. We have just also launched the information on the city's website as part of the press release. So if you go to the city's homepage, sump pump program will be on there. You can click, follow that link, get all the information you want on there. Even show some videos about what we accomplish when we do this, how to sign up for the program. The biggest criteria, Alder Perez, you need to qualify for this program is your home has to be built prior to 1955. After 1955, the building code required sump pumps to be put in. So that's their number one qualifier. The second thing is that you don't have a sump pump. This isn't a sump pump replacement program. Somebody may have a house from 1905 and they put a sump pump in on their own time, or the previous owner did. We aren't here to replace people's sump pumps. We're here to put new ones in to reduce that II. So it's primarily that's the biggest criteria. We are targeting, this initial bid went up and targeted the worst flood prone areas from that September 2022 storm. We had a lot of data from where we picked up flood damaged property and where wastewater had reported a lot of backups in the system. So we targeted those areas by mailers just to get this out there. Now that we have the press release out, the information's on the website. We're gonna have a lot of people start signing up through that. That's what we're gonna try to attract more participants, hopefully get more word of mouth. There are some non-qualifying things on the sump pump program. For example, if you have a home has a sump pump built 1955 or after, if you have some violations on your home, or you're delinquent in paying your taxes, they don't want to offer that program until you get caught up to speed with those things. So there's a little filter on there that MIS is set up to screen those properties. So when you put an application in, if you will, or you sign up, we will let you know if you met the criteria. If you didn't, we're not publishing that to anybody. We're not going to publish why you didn't get it. We will contact you personally, let you know. But not a lot that really can disqualify you if you're paying your taxes, you don't have violations, and you don't have a sump pump, and your home's 1955 or older. So we have about 16,000 properties currently in the city of Racine, residential properties that meet the criteria of being 1955 or less. So we need to reach about 1/8 of those for our goal.
Is $7,800 reasonable for a sump pump replacement?
Well, it's a good question. There's a lot of variables on the contract documents. For example, if you look at the bidder proposal, if there's not electrical available to hook up the sump pump, we have it in the contract that we'll install an electrical outlet, GFI outlet for this. If the electrical is available, that's an item that won't be paid. There are items in there to break out the Palmer valve, to disconnect the foundation drain from the lateral, and and get it direct to the sump pump. And there are obviously different installation options based on where the sump pump could get put in. So some of these items may not be paid, if you will, because there's going to be either option, this option or that option. Does it need electrical? So I think we're going to rethink how we bid this out. And our goal is to get more properties on subsequent contracts, more quantity, lower prices, and maybe figure out some ways to maybe put the bid package together where it becomes a little more clear to contractors. This was a little ambiguous. I mean, I have to say that Ron received a lot of calls on this from contractors. You know, we've never done this before. We followed some different municipalities that have done this. So would I say these prices are a little bit high? Yes. Are we going to spend all that money? No, because some of these homes may not need all the stuff that's in the bidder's proposal. So I think when we have this program closed out, we'll probably have a better idea on average what that unit price was per sump pump. But I guess I'm hoping that number with a greater quantity, we get down to maybe around 5,000 or something like that. That was, you know, 5,500, but that's where we're at right now. We want to get moving with the program, and we are recommending we have funding available. So to do this in budget for, and we got to get working on that IR reduction, which we are mandated by the wastewater commission, because we're a sanitary sewer recipient of their services, just like Mount Pleasant and Caledonia and Elmwood Park, and the sanitary sewer provider. So this is required for all the SSR parties to comply with exceedance.
Okay.
Kelly?
Hi, I had a question. Did you say there were, how many people have already applied? I didn't know if I caught that or not.
We wanted to get out a number for this first bid, and we were trying to target around at least 70, and that's what we landed on. When we targeted those areas, I believe we got responses from 80 or 82 residents, and 12 of them didn't meet the criteria for the reasons I stated. So
Have you reached out to the 70 people or just the 12 people that didn't qualify, or any of them?
well, we're going to reach out to all those folks if this committee approves the bid and common council approves it next week. Then we'll know. For some reason, if this legislative body said we don't want to award this contract, and we don't want to contact anybody yet, but they have been made aware of it that these plans are up for bid. So
Okay, just because I know some people have reached out to me saying, you know, I went online and they wanted to know, you know, I didn't get an email or anything. So I just was looking for a response back of how to respond to that. So
yeah, it's a good question. We just didn't want to call something back and all of a sudden common council for some reason decides to not approve the bids, and we're like, well.
right. In my area, I think in my area, you know, I have a lot of older homes, like my own home personally was 1908, I believe it was built. And a lot of the homes on my block, they all flooded in, you know, 3 inches of standing water in the basement in 2022. So I know my neighbors are pretty excited about this. So I definitely will be in favor and highly advocate for this program.
Yeah, we definitely need, you know, as much word of mouth out there on the streets. We think the fact that this is going through common council, these bids next week, the fact that we finally released the press releases out, the information is now available on the website. We're hoping to get lots of participants. We want to bid hundreds of these out. I hope, in my eyes, maybe twice a year. We have to get to that number. So
Super. Thank you so much.
Any further questions from committee members? Seeing none, the motion is in order.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alder Perez, second by Alder Kelly to approve item 1135-23. Seeing no further questions, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Our next item is 1131-23. Communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of the Department of Parks, Recreation and Culture Services. Submitting change order number 1 to contract 202-3201 Sam Myers Park Restoration, A.W. Oaks and Son Contractor. Staff recommendation that change order number 1 for Samuel Myers Park Recreation, A.W. Oaks and Son, be approved in the detailed amount of $2,894.88. Physical note, funding for the change order is credited in the following order object 450505711 Parks Land Improvements. It says Mr. Moback, but I don't think he is no Moback. What was it?
Mr. Bosher.
Basher, thank you. To speak on the item, we have Mr. Basher from Parks and Rec.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This change order is for the St. Myers Park. When the contractor was doing excavation on the work, we came about the old boat launch that was down there years and years ago. It was in the way of putting in the forward railing and everything, so we need to take it out. And the other part that is being removed is the maintenance contract, similar to what we did on the Zoo pathway, because it's in there for 3 years. We didn't want to leave the contract open for 3 years. So we're taking that out of this particular one and doing a separate contract on its own merit. So that's where we get the credit from. Any questions?
On the rest,
What is the native seed maintenance contract? What is that about?
Then we have, if you've been down to Myers Park, they have all the native, plantings and seedlings and all the stuff that the health department takes care of. So there is a company that plants and moves, like there's some there that they were going to reseed from the area and move over, and he comes in and takes care of, make sure all of that is taken care of and maintained. The cut once a year, all that stuff, so it has a good chance of coming in.
any further questions from committee members? Seeing none, and a motion is in order.
Move to approve.
Second. Motion by Alder Rivera, second by Alder Davis to approve item 1131-23. Seeing no further questions, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next item, communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of the Department of Parks, Recreation and Culture Services, submitting change order number 1 to contract 202-2083 Park Service Building Parking Lot Paving, A.W. Oaks and Son Contractor. Staff recommendation that a change order be deducted in the amount of $1,369.16. Physical note, funding for this change order is credited in order objects 45050, 57110, Park Lands Improvement. Mr. Blackfish.
Thank you, Chair. This is basically a change order just for, we put on a reconciliation of quantities. The contractor got it done with less than a third of them was estimated.
Where is?
This is the Parks Department on, where's that going?
King from Lockwood?
No, not Lockwood, it's Humber. Up at 12th, 11th, and by the bowling alley there.
Yeah, that's lot.
That's Lockwood?
Yeah,
Okay.
Lockwood and
Lockwood is the parking lot for the actual park services.
Just north of Hampton, where the city electricians have their facility.
Any further questions from committee members? Seeing none, a motion is in order.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alder Perez, second by Alder Pettit to approve item 1129-23. Seeing no further questions, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. The next item is 1130-23. Communications sponsored by The chair on behalf of the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Services to submit final payment for contract 2022083 Park Services Building Parking Lot Paving A.W. Olson Son Contractors. Recommendation that the payment be accepted and the parking lot paving be accepted and final payment authorized for a total contract amount of $196,727.84. Final payment to include retainage. Physical note contract 2022083 was authorized under resolution number 0542-22 dated August 16th, 2022. Mr. Rocker.
Thank you, ma'am. This is just the final payment for the last change order. Everything was done, all the punch list items were taken care of, and the first part is satisfied with the end result.
Thank you. Questions? Motion is in.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alder Perez, second by Alder Kelly to approve item 1130-23. Seeing no further questions, comments, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. The next item is 1125-23. Communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Services, submitting change order number 1 to contract 2023131 Washington Park Bowl Pavement Drainage Project, Washington Corporation Contractor. Staff recommendation that the change order be deducted in the amount of $3,444.06. Physical note funding for this change order is credited in the following or object 45050-57110 Parks Land Improvement.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, this is basically the same as the last change order. Contractor was able to complete the contract under estimated price. Thank you.
Alder Perez and then Alder Davis.
Where is Washington Park Bowl?
Behind Washington High School, down in the valley where the baseball diamonds are down there. We have a storage building, and there's also
You said Washington High School?
Washington Park High School
Where is that?
on 12th Street,
Well, yeah.
Park High School.
Oh, Park High School. Oh, okay.
Washington Park.
I'm like, okay. It's actually Washington Park. That's what it
Yeah.
is. Okay. Okay. Oh, it's good.
Yeah, right down behind there, down baseball diamonds down there.
Mhm.
Is that the arrow that?
What does the bowl refer to?
That's the nickname they call it because it's down in the valley. It's a bowl almost. It's just a hole down in the ground.
Okay.
Yeah, your baseball.
I was gonna say, play video based softball games. Down there.
Yeah, I like that.
Alder Davis.
And this is to fix the softball area where it normally.
Where the bleachers were on the baseball diamond on the first base side and where our storage building was, that was all pitching down in there with over time with all the gravity and flooding out. So we put the drain system in there, so that's all cleared out, so we don't flood anymore and all that. And paved the area around the bleachers, so it's a little nicer getting in there and all that kind of stuff.
All right, thank you.
Any further questions? Move to approve item 1125-23.
Motion to approve?
Second.
It has been motioned by Alder Kelly, second by Alder Davis to approve item 25-23. Seeing no further questions, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Our next item is 1128-23. Communications sponsored by Chair on behalf of the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Services, to submit final payment for contract 2023-131 Washington Park Bowl pavement drainage project. That recommendation that the project be accepted and final payment authorized for total contract amount of $60,240.40. Final payment to include retainage. Fiscal note, contract 202-31-31 was authorized on resolution number 0529-23 dated June 6th of 2023. Mr. Lockwood.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just final payment for that same contract. All the other work has been completed to the Parks Department satisfaction.
Questions? Not a motion is in order.
Motion to approve?
Motion by Alder Kelly, second by Alder Prince to approve item 1128-23.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Thank you again.
Thank you.
The next item is 1132-23. Communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of the Assistant Commissioner of Public Works to waive formal bidding for the purchase of case wheel loader vehicles. That recommendation at the request of the Assistant Commissioner of Public Works Operations to waive formal bidding procedures for the purchase of wheel loaders for the city of Racine, for the city be approved. Fiscal note funding to defray the cost of materials is available in Ort Objects 45140 57311 DPW equipment vehicles. Mr. Fritzlaw.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. We are requesting that formal bidding procedures be waived for the purpose of this vehicle. And further request that the purchasing agent be authorized to negotiate for that purpose of case equipment with Miller, Radford, Risenberg. They're being the sole provider of these units. Case is the only manufacturer of the equipment, in this case, and loaders that City of Racine utilizes, which results in continuity of labor and on the purpose of replacement parts for equipment maintenance. Department of Public Works budget for case 621G wheel loader in the 2024-33 to 33 capital improvement plan. And the estimated cost is $275,000 with funding to defray the cost out of board budget 45140573111. DPW equipment vehicles. I'm happy to answer any questions. Yes, sir.
And loader.
Ellen loader is it's got a big bucket on the end that raises up and just scoops up. It can do multiple things. Starts out with a bucket, big yellow machine. It's not a backhoe.
Hinge in the middle.
Yeah.
You've seen them 100 times.
Yeah. Also use them to plow. So we can take that bucket off, put a plow on, actually put a wing on it too. So that the plow and a wing. We also use them in our snow and ice operation as well.
And this time you'll see them out there doing leaf collection. After all the leaves are pushed in a pile, we'll just pick them up, drop them in the leaf pads, which are attached to our refuse trucks. We've got 15 of these in the fleet. So very versatile piece of equipment, absolute necessity in our snow and ice operations. And we do use them quite a bit during the plowing operations when we have to drop blades, because they're highly efficient with the plow on the front and the wing assembly on the side of it.
So it's not an actual vehicle?
That's what it
an
looks like.
attachment?
No,
That's not a case, but I mean,
no, that's not the case.
but that's what it generally looks like.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on.
So it's the whole
You're
thing.
purchasing
Yeah,
one.
it's
the whole thing.
And why are they the only people that have this?
They're not. Caterpillar makes them, Komatsu, but the City of Racine Department of Public Works, obviously because of the relationship we have with Case being a Racine manufacturing company has always bought these pieces of equipment, from Case. Supply parts are readily available in this area. The dealership is right here. Miller Bradford Reedsburg is, I don't know, I think they're still out there on Highway 11 and I-94. They've been out there for decades. Again, it's part continuity. It's our mechanics that take care of this stuff. We do not want an assortment of different types of end motors out there in the fleet. We want continuity. We have 15 of these. We hold on to these pieces of equipment. We get a lot of use, a lot of hours out of them. We budget replacement for one of these annually every year, so we get 15 years out of this piece of equipment, considering all the work that they do for us year round. They're used, on the breakout crew, we're doing concrete work, leaf collection. You put forks on them to move material. Again, no plowing operation, they're absolutely critical to our operation.
What's a wing? You said you can put a wing on it, what's that?
Yeah, so a wing plow, so if you have the blade in front that we put on, you'll also see some wings if you look out on the interstate, with the Racine County's large equipment out there. It's a second plow blade. So you move the material from the primary lane that you're plowing in, and then it pushes it off, and you can actually get 2 lanes plowed with one vehicle. So, or you may even be there, and you may also get the parking lane plowed at the same time as well. So if you see that wing attachment up, there's some images up there that you can.
I'm trying to find one for you.
Hit that image button on. So there's a wing right there, third one over,
Yes,
right there.
kind of
So
go.
that would be a wing attachment that would go on there, so, or you even see that on the first one there, so that's the wing, that's the versatility of the equipment. Like I said, Case, Komatsu, Caterpillar, there's quite a few make this type of equipment, John Deere, the Case is Racine company, and all the work's been using them for, since they've been making these pieces of equipment.
What's their relationship costs to the other companies? I mean, are they cheaper? Are they comparable?
I think they're real competitive for the city of Racine, for all the reasons stated. It's a local manufacturing company. Again, it's part continuity, and it is our mechanics being able to work on the same piece of equipment, get the training to take care of these vital pieces of equipment. Are we overpaying for an end loader by buying Case equipment? My answer to you is no. They're very competitive, and they're tried and true piece of equipment for the public works department.
Any further questions? I can't see all the telling.
Sorry.
No questions here. Huge fan of Case equipment, so.
I'm biased, that's my former company that I worked for. Been 3 years, so.
Oh,
30 years. Anyway, seeing no further questions, a motion is in order.
Motion to approve.
Second. Been motion by Alder Kelly, second by Alder Davis to approve item 1132-23. Seeing no further questions, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the motion passes. The next item is 1133-23. Communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of the Assistant Commissioner of Public Works to waive formal bidding for the purchase of Mina Foundry sewer related materials. Staff recommendation that the request be waived for bidding procedures for the purchase of Mina Foundry products be approved. Fiscal note, these negotiations will be done on an as-need basis with funding available in or object 22,640, 57,560 sanitary sewer, and or object 60484, 57,570 storm sewer. Mr. Crislott.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Staff requests that the purchasing agent be authorized to directly negotiate for the purchase of the following products, including 1, sewer inlets, 2, manhole covers, 3, manhole frames, and 4, catch basins. The city of Racine has used the following product for the sewer system for decades, and they've been the sole provider for replacements. And we have a budget in 22640575660. Once again, we have citywide, we use Nina products. I don't know of another manufacturer in the area that we would get a cheaper price from, nor would we be able to match the sizing that goes along with our detailed catch basins, inlets, manholes, etc. So I'm happy to answer any other questions.
If I may add on that, Madam Chair, there's a Nina foundry in Wisconsin here again. They are the closest foundry that's making these types of products. I suppose if we were in Indiana or Michigan, we'd probably be buying our castings from East Jordan Iron Works. So again, to Assistant Commissioner's point, we've been specing Nina castings for decades and decades. If we need to replace the lid, the frame, everything, it's all detailed specs that match everything, and the parts match the size manholes that we spec. If DPW field maintenance has to replace castings as they break, which they do, you'll see barricades on them. We have the exact same parts that fit the structures that we have out there, and the same lids that fit the frame. So, and we pay for this out of the sanitary sewer maintenance fund and out of the stormwater utility enterprise fund.
All the rest.
There's no specific number here, and the way this is written is that they're going to negotiate with them. Does that mean that there's no particular price that you go in saying, hey, we need 5 of these, what's the best price you can give us, and then drag them?
Yeah, so we'll call.
Okay.
Yeah, the purchasing agent will, so what happens is the city engineering staff will start preparing plans and specs. We'll be bringing in loads of bids this spring for paving contract, sewer, water, or sewer contracts out there. And they're gonna need X number of manholes, catch basins, all these types of units that they are going to need for, we buy these. And then we have these in the yard. So DPW is the exact same stuff that's out there. Are we purchasing and supplying to the contractor as
Yes.
well? We buy all the castings, so we also save on the markup and the tax that a contractor would also pay for these if they were just submitting a bid. We buy the product, we keep what we need for maintenance, and we have a specified amount that our staff will need to give to the contractors to install these when we pay. So when Eric gets those numbers, then our DPW superintendent looks at our stock of what we have left over at the end of the year. We'll determine how many we need. We'll have the purchasing agent say, hey, we need X number of these, X number of those, X number of those over there. Let's negotiate the price.
Is there a specific price in the budget here that you cannot go over?
I don't believe there's a,
It says funding is available, but I mean, up to what point?
Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, I think to answer the Alderman's question, I want to say we budget. It's less than $100,000 combined between the two accounts.
Yeah.
So it may be 40,000 we have in the stormwater utility account for castings and 40,000 in the storm sewer account and 40 or some, but it is all appropriated in those org objects in those two accounts. And it's generally it's a number we put in there based on previous year's use. We know how much we go through in DPW field operations for maintenance. We know generally how much we're doing in paving. So we have a pretty good idea. That's what we put in there. So that money is what we have in that org object, and we try to stay under that budget. So.
Any other questions from committee members? Saying none, a motion is in order.
Motion to approve?
I will second. Motion by Alder Kelly, second by the chair, to approve item 1133-23. Seeing no further questions, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. The next item is 1134-23, communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of the Assistant Commissioner of Public Works Operations requesting to waive formal bidding procedures for the purchase of material from the Johnson Controls Metasys Systems. Staff recommendation that the request of the Assistant Commissioner of Public Works Operations to waive formal bidding procedures for the purchase of Metasys software update and be approved for material for the Johnson Controls Metasys building automation system. Physical note funding to defray the cost of these services is available in Ort Object 70240-57-200 building improvement. Mr. Richloff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are requesting that we waive formal bids on the Metasys software update and materials for Johnson Controls Automation. They are the sole provider for all of our buildings. So City Hall, the incinerator building, Central Heating, which is down in the pit, Festival Hall, the library, Memorial Hall. These buildings are all interconnected using this system. To use anything different would create all kinds of problems for us, quite frankly. So, anyway, so they are, that's what I mean by they are the sole provider. So when we do have something go wrong or we have to purchase a part, that's who we're gonna go with. Open the questions.
So is that the furnace system, the cooling, heating, what is
Oh, yeah.
this, control?
Yeah, it controls HVAC, it controls heating, cooling, all of those things. So our facilities manager, Bill Miller, he has a readout and he can actually click on a readout of each building, graphs of how the heating and cooling is going. He can troubleshoot where a problem might be in the system, if a valve is stuck closed or something of that nature. He can actually troubleshoot from his computer and quite frankly from at home if he needs to, and he has done that. So
Yeah.
it's
a complete building automation system. Even the new federally qualified healthcare center will be using the same BAS, JCI.
Well, the reason I'm asking the question is that several years ago in this committee, we talked about replacing it over at the other building there. And they said that the cost would be unreasonable at the time, and we had to update the system. Okay. At what point in the history of us having this system would it be more economical to go to a new system? Because have we had this other 40 years ago?
all in one.
Because we've added at least the 10, 11 that have been a problem.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
remember voting for this.
I mean, JCI is provided proprietary software and equipment for the building automation system for quite a long time. Again, JCI, I mean, and I believe now they're headquartered in Ireland or the UK or something. But again, a Milwaukee company that was close by. They still have a presence there, and they are, you know, a preferred provider to us. And you know, quite honestly, you know, buildings all across the country and the world, they're a leader in this. I don't see any reason why we would do a wholesale change out of a BAS program unless for some extenuating circumstance, like the company went into bankruptcy or something like that. It's a monumental effort, I think, to switch gears and go with something completely different. This is tied to everything that we do. It's, you know, it relates to building maintenance. It keeps the buildings very efficient as it relates to energy consumption. And quite honestly, it also helps us with the level of staffing that we have as well, to be able to troubleshoot a lot of the stuff that we can from a desktop or a phone, because of manpower issues. So To answer your question, I don't see any reason why we would be interested in changing a BAS system, at any time in the near future.
So as we go to a new building, let's say, we rebuild the public safety building across the street, would that also have this system in place?
Correct, just like I said, the federally qualified healthcare center will also use, the Medisys system, which is Johnson Controls proprietary system for all of our buildings.
Right, and the reason I asked is because when we were discussing that in the past, doing the public safety building. The annex, it was so antiquated that they had to put in a whole new system there. Saying, upgrade the system, it was so antiquated. At what point, do we upgrade, our, like, whenever they have an upgrade, they have new formulas or whatever, they call them, auto release.
Yeah, I mean, the mechanicals, the equipment is antiquated, we've replaced that, but the medicine system is what talks to that equipment regardless of, what type of equipment that may be. So we're changing out that type of stuff as it becomes antiquated. This is the system that allows us to connect to it, talk to it, control it remotely. And that's constantly upgraded by Johnson Controls. So, I think, did that answer your question?
Yeah.
I mean,
It does old equipment as well as new equipment. I can see the new equipment lasting, but like we had old systems in place and we talked about fixing the whole thing because it was so antiquated.
Part of this is also to update that software, so as updates come on, they update it. And, that's part of this.
So what do they have to do to talk to the old structures? You said they do old and new. So how do they connect to the old ones when we don't have stuff that's modern in some of these places?
how does the automation system connect to these various HVAC systems? It's beyond my expertise.
We're just gonna say
Sensors, fault sensors on these devices and,
Probably programmable logic controllers and
yeah,
everything else.
It may not work for all of them, it's built in like 1902 or something like that, or something that's a century old might be hard, but Bill's done a really nice job with his staff in, some of the old stuff that's across the street at the safety building. You can monitor all those things, and especially Memorial Hall as well. Memorial Hall's pretty old, so we've been able to, for lack of a better term, retrofit some of these things so that we can get sensors, we can get control, ways to control them, installed and ready to roll. So can't do it for everything, but where we can, we have.
Any further questions from committee members? Seeing none. Move to approve item 1134, 1134 -20.
Move to approve.
Second,
Everybody likes my motion. Excuse me. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
aye.
Opposed, the motion passes. That was a motion. Oh. Twice in each time. So I'm like, okay, what am I doing incorrect? All right, moving on. Our final item is 1140-23, communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of the Assistant Commissioner of Public Works submitting professional services agreement between the city of Racine and Grafe USA Inc. for engineering services in the design of improvements to the City Hall elevator. That recommendation that the mayor and city clerk be authorized and directed to enter into a professional services agreement with Grafe USA Inc. for engineering services in the design of improvements to the City Hall elevator in the not to exceed amount of $60,100. Fiscal note funding is available in Ford Object 45-040-57-200. Mr. Pitchlock.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. Our City Hall elevator was put together in 1978, installed, and needless to say, it's associated mechanicals are past their useful life. This professional services agreement will include design of upgraded components to modernize and install the mechanical. Some of these parts are, you can't replace them because they're obsolete. So, we'd like to, modernize, install, new mechanical parts for the elevator. Also include an alternate plan for ADA access to the city hall. While it's sole elevators under construction. This agreement provides for construction services as well, including a cost estimate, pre-bid meeting, coordination, bi-weekly construction meetings, responding to written requests, and reviewing contractor submittals. Part of this through capital improvement revenue area of the complex. We're asking that this be approved in the not to exceed amount of $60,100. Or object 45040-57200. This is a project that will, this project will, needs to be done. We're having problems with parts in our elevator. Unfortunately, it's the only elevator in City Hall. So there's going to be some logistical concerns with rebuilding some of the components and what have you. We're working through those. We don't anticipate that construction of that particular elevator will be starting until after the elections. So, but needless to say, we still need to get started on the design portion of it. There's several things that need to get done as far as that goes. This professional service agreement takes care of that, and we'd like to get rolling with design of this particular item. Questions?
All the press.
So from reading the statement from Draft, it looks like they're only, they're not doing the construction, they're just designing it for us, is that correct?
They're designing it and they are overseeing the construction. They're not constructing it. We'll likely have to bid that out once they provide us with the plan and specifications.
Is that something that comes back to us for
Yes.
approval?
So we'll have to, once they're done with the design, we have to actually physically bid it out then we have to come back for you folks to award it and common council as well.
And as Ron said, the schedule that we have internally is to not start this project till after the spring elections are over, so it'll probably start, I'm guessing, mid-April. And we'd like to get this thing done by, say, mid to late June, maybe about a 2-month project or so. And Ray will be helping us and work with all the other departments to make sure that there is ADA access to every department that needs it. One of the nice parts about the Department of Customer Services, if you will, is most people not only have to go to the first floor of the new department for everything, so we'll be setting up probably temporary office work with the city clerk to get that down there. And if there are employees that have accessibility issues, we may be temporarily citing those folks on the basement level as well during this time period. So it's hopefully happen. It's a little bit warmer out, and but yes, like Ron said, we are going to have a period where we're not going to have elevator use in the building. But we'd rather control the situation by doing this proactively than having the situation to control on. And it would be very costly to wait till we got into a situation where it did fail and then react to it. So it's 45 years old and parts need replacing so it can stay in service for another 45 years.
You have a video?
I'm over the elevator.
So, what was the internal cost estimate? I mean, you're proposing 60,000, but did you, when you thought about it, did you think it would be more or less than 60,000?
That's for the engineering, that's not for the actual work in the elevator.
Right.
Yeah.
But you guys always look ahead and say what it's gonna cost us, what we think it's gonna cost us, so that when bid it out, you have, if it's not close, you don't do it, right? Was 60,000 something that you guys were able to project, or did you project higher or lower for this aspect of the work?
We budgeted 170,000 for the complete project
There's monies available for the construction,
for this.
So the 110 available for the project,
for the mechanical upgrades and part upgrades in the elevator.
right, but for the paperwork and design aspect that Graph does, did you guys think 60 was reasonable? Or did you work with other people? I mean, is this a bid thing?
No, it's not bid. Professional services aren't bid. We work with consultants. We solicit, statements of qualifications. We meet with them, talk about scope of services. And when we find the one that we think is best suited for the job, then we ask them to submit a price and we review it as well. Even the state of Wisconsin DOT, we bring three-party contracts into you as well. They're not fee-based proposals. And we do that in conjunction with the DOT. We solicit statements of qualifications, we review those, interview them if necessary, and find the one that we believe is the most qualified, then we negotiate the price. We're not required to by law to, this isn't public works construction contract where we have to give it to the lowest responsible bidder. This is professional services.
And because it's professional services, that permits you to go to any price point?
Any price point that you would trust DPW management team to negotiate to, yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll try to be pretty frugal with the taxpayers' money here. Generally speaking, I think when it comes to professional services agreements for engineering, and probably city attorney could probably say it for attorney services, you get what you pay for. And you want to make sure you have the right team that can do the job, and when you got the scope defined, and you understand their rates to do the work, and the hours involved in doing the work, then the numbers are what they are. I'm sure somebody could swoop in here and tell us they could do it cheaper. But we found the prices negotiated with the assistant commissioner and great.
One thing I can tell you is that I've had a double of the time finding good mechanical consultants, as has our facilities manager, who knows. It has been a challenge. Even going back to some of the projects that were done prior to my service here, trying to contact some of the mechanical consultants and get them to respond has been a challenge, to say the least. In this particular case, Brief has been, they put together a great proposal. They've been responsive. They have their own in-house mechanical section with folks who have the proper experience to get this done. And most importantly, I trust them. That's to get the work done and to get it done, with a reasonable cost.
Any further questions from committee members? Seeing none? We'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
It's motion by Alder Kelly, second by Alder Dewey to approve item 1140-23. Seeing no further comments. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. That concludes our agenda items for this afternoon. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Stay warm.
Thank you too.
Keep this committee out in the new year.
That's right. Well, I'm sure we'll probably run into you, but if not, have the Merry Christmas.
Yeah, don't put holiday.
Thank you.
You know, I like to email you all.
And you got it. No one else is talking. I'm never say this. We're not gonna, we are not gonna leave you alone.
Read it up again.
I haven't looked, I haven't been there, I haven't been by there in about 2 weeks. Okay. But the green color was nice. Oh, good. Yeah, the green color was nice.
Give me that. I'm gonna.
I've been out of
Yeah,
town.
I'm gonna- you know, that's in case she
Oh,
goes
you're
to
back.
the crowd.
So I haven't been at church.
When she gets back.
Turn out church that I see it.
Oh, right on. Yeah, right on. Awesome.
Oh, 45, the part needs to be replaced. Oh, yeah.
I just kept having visions of, you know, the chinchilla on a treadmill, you know, people tired out on the treadmill.